Welcome back to the best division in football with your boys Awthentik and The Beard. We are down to 4 teams, man. By the end of Sunday, we are going to know what 2 teams will compete for Super Bowl 56 at SoFi Stadium, man. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I've been telling people on Twitter I'm looking for a Chiefs and a Rams Super Bowl. Hate to let the cat out the bag for my picks tonight, but that's probably the way we're going here. I'm looking for a 100% boat race in the Super Bowl. Last week, we witnessed the greatest playoff weekend ever. I don't know if this weekend is going to be able to top that one, but I'm looking for some fantastic matchups here. We got the Bengals at the Chiefs, and we got the 49ers at the Rams. We're also going to be doing a little bit of over-unders, so make sure y'all stay tuned for that at the end of each game. And without further ado, let me bring on the best co-host in the country, the strong side to my left side. What's cracking, The Beard? How you living, my bro?
Another day, another dollar. Actually, another day, $300. I have to
another dollar spent.
I had to spend $300 to get my car fixed, so that happened today. So I'm excited here. I can't let those sort of things get in the way of my football watching this weekend. Sunday is going to be exciting, to say the least. I am definitely super stoked for that. These games are rematches, which I think is pretty cool, so and not like rematches from like earlier in the season. Like, these teams all played each other within the last couple of weeks, so like It's super it's definitely going to play a part as far as these matchups go for Sunday. Obviously, we had some retirements in the National Football League. Big Ben is hanging it up. We got a couple of new coach signings. I thought Brian Leftwich was going to be the head coach for Jacksonville Jaguars. Is that not true? Is that not the case?
Not solidified yet. I saw he was still taking some interviews with some other teams, so we'll see how that goes. I think Brian Leftwich is definitely a guy who should be in the conversation to getting a head coaching job this year. If it doesn't come to fruition this year, then hopefully, next year or the year after that, because I kind of feel like he's in the same position Eric Bieniemy was in maybe last year.
Yeah, and I just think it would be great for Jacksonville, him going back, to the place where he played and doing what he can to kind of bring that franchise from the gutters in which it is right now, obviously. Yeah. I mean, he's got Trevor Lawrence. He's got some, other young talent there. It'll be interesting to see what he can do. So I'm obviously this offseason is definitely something that we're kind of watching closely right now. So that's happening. And then, we got these 2 big games. I'm really excited, and I'm trying to hit some more over/under bets for sure. That's definitely what I'm trying to do.
I took care of business last week, so we're gonna see how that works out.
Yeah, I gotta. I'm probably. I think so. You were like 3 games ahead of me, or 3 over/unders ahead of me last weekend, and then 1 the weekend before. So I'm like 4 behind. So I definitely gotta catch up on some ground in that.
Kind of feels like golf a little bit here, except a little flip flop, because I'm never leading on the back 9 when we play golf. The Beard's definitely a better golfer than I am for sure. But I'm looking forward to these games as well. I think the one the little bit of a sad note here is that we only got a couple weeks left of football, and we all know how the offseason goes. That's not fun times, especially for the Washington football team fans and the New York Giants fans. We've been struggling. We're looking for some good football, so we're going to have to wait a whole offseason before we actually get to see both our teams put a new product, especially with you guys revealing these uniforms here coming up. It's going to be real new product on the field for sure.
6 days away. I'm super excited.
Yeah, that should be fun. I hope it's a surprise, man. I hope they don't go with the rumors have been saying they're going with the defenders or the what was the other one they were saying, the presidents or whatever. I hope it's not
admirals, commanders, defenders. I mean, some sort of
Told you I like that Sentinels though. I think that Sentinels could be something fire, man. You get like the Marvel NFL collaboration, which we've already seen actually. I know the New York Giants had a Marvel collaboration with Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, and one more other player. I can't remember who it was.
I wouldn't be mad for I'm fingers crossed from my Red Tails. We'll see.
Yeah, it's still in the mix. We'll see how it goes, man. Let's say some shout-outs to the people here, man, and then we'll get into these 2 games.
Big shout-outs to everybody who's watching us right now on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and, of course, here on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up while you guys are here. And I'll give you a wild guess who was first in the building.
Shout
one,
out
the
my
only
guy,
Coach
Taylor.
Taylor is in the building. Shout out
Gotta
to
be the last
Jensen.
one in the building too, Coach. I hope to see you here when practice is finished. Today, we taking it a little light on the team today. We're not gonna give y'all the normal crazy practice. We're not going into the wee hours of the night. We're gonna cut this one a little short. So hopefully you can stick
No
around.
uphills, no massive sleds in the snow. You guys are gonna be okay today. My favorite GQ name on YouTube, Mr. Edward Squires. What's going on? Great to see you, sir.
What
Hope
up,
you're
fam?
doing well.
What up?
And Brian Porras says Schoen and Jones are already breaking down film, huh?
Oh yeah, that's big facts. I know my man Brian is very happy about that. He definitely wants to see Daniel Jones still be the starting quarterback. I do think Daniel Jones will be the starting quarterback in 2022. And the Beard, you got to get used to this, man. This is our new GM. I know it's spelled a little funky, but it's pronounced Shane. I've been seeing people butcher that all month. Yeah, it's pronounced Shane. It's German, I believe. So make sure you keep that little nugget in the back of your mind. Took me a while too. I was going on podcasts, shown. I'm doing all this. Yeah, it's definitely Shane. So we got to get used to that for sure going into.
It'll be logged in the memory bank moving forward. Shane. Got it. So low down, dirty Shane.
Big
shout out.
Ooh, bars. I like it.
Big shout out to No Bets, No Nets, No Jets in the building. Appreciate you stopping
What's
by.
up, brother? What's
Julissa is here as well. And the Hub
What's up, the Hub?
is in the building.
I checked
Great
out
to
the
see
Hub
you, brother.
last night, man. That was a fire show. I know he popped in on the roundtable talk with the entertainer talking sports. I was a little tied up. I wanted to jump in on that one, but couldn't make it. But shout out to all the Giants content creators that was on with Tanner last night. That was a good one.
And big shout out to Fabian. Thank you for joining us. Hope all is well. And the Hub says you heard it here first. He thinks the new head coach is going to be Brian Flores.
I'm not going to be too mad at that. The only beef I might have is that we're double dipping on the Patriots coaching tree, following up from Bill Belichick. But that's all good. I think Brian Flores has proved that he's the one coach from that whole tree that, the apple hasn't gotten rotten just yet. We'll see if the New York Giants can change that or maybe continue his success.
He's defense, though. His roots, right, are as a defensive mind. Yeah. I don't know. I think you guys need a little offense there. But
People
we'll
been
see.
saying that, man. But look, man, a head coach is a head coach, and you get an offensive coordinator for that reason. You bring in a guy, you want to agree with the philosophy, but also the game plans are going to be dictated by the offensive coordinator and just approved by the head coach. So for me, just get the right guys in the building. I'm not too worried about it if it's a defensive-minded head coach or an offensive-minded head coach or both.
For sure. Definitely, it's going to be all about the entire staff as a whole. Big shout out to the heavyweight champion of the world, Craig.
What up, fam? What up?
Big shout out to Kareem. Appreciate you stopping by. Who else we got in the building?
What up?
Denzio is here. Old man Rob is in the building.
What's up, Rob?
Jake,
How you living,
the
fam?
SW Hunter
Hey,
is
Jake
in
back in the building. What's up, Jake?
Sabrina is here as well.
What's going on, Queen Sabrina?
And
How you living?
appreciate everybody else who is in the building. Cookie Monster's here. Stan Albert's here. And Michelle, thank you for stopping by and saying hello.
The gang is in the building. Shout out to Giants Nation. Y'all know what it is. We still in the building. However many weeks later, however many losses, well, we could say 13 losses later, man. Who would have thought we was going to get 13 losses, man? I was removing some graphics today from the side panel of StreamYard, and I was just like, man, I was way off on some of these picks, bro. It's been crazy, man. But you ready to get into this first game here?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get it, man. We're going to start with the Bengals at the Chiefs one time. All right, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs will take on Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals this Sunday for a chance to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. 10 of the 16 AFC teams have a starting quarterback that is 26 years old or younger. This will be the first time the two young quarterbacks are meeting in the playoffs, and it will be only the second time Patrick Mahomes and Burrow have played each other. After Joe Burrow and the Bengals beat the Chiefs a few weeks ago in Week 17 of the regular season, Mahomes told Burrow after the game, "We'll see y'all in the playoffs." And that's exactly what's about to happen here. Both quarterbacks have had two spectacular playoff performances each. Mahomes had 433 total yards with 5 touchdowns in the Chiefs' wildcard win over the Steelers, and he finished with 447 total yards and 3 touchdowns in their divisional win against the Bills last week. Burrow only had 242 total yards with 2 touchdowns in their wild card win over the Raiders. He had 353 yards total against the Titans, but finished with 0 passing touchdowns. The Chiefs are favored by 7, and the over-under is 54. That should be a boat race the way Vegas has this one lined up. I'm trying to think if I want to toss this roadmap to you first, because I definitely got some nuggets on the play. How you feeling about this one?
All right, listen. I've been high on this Bengals team all year long. I also never counted out the Kansas City Chiefs as well, because there were some points during this season where a lot of people, had their doubts on the Kansas City Chiefs. So
big facts.
I was not one of those people, we kind of had some questions, obviously, but never like those kind of ridiculous statements of the people who were like, has the league figured out the Kansas City Chiefs? Or,
yeah, I never wavered, man. I never wavered. People were like, Patrick Mahomes' numbers, he's leading the league in turnovers and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man, I'll take them numbers all day right now, the way he was putting up them touchdowns early.
I'll tell you what, this guy right here has been a lifelong Chiefs fan. Big shout out to our homie, Robert. Appreciate the $5 super chat. Says, how about them Chiefs?
Again,
Let's
man,
go.
you're a lucky fan. I will say, bro, you are a very lucky fan. But I think that the Kansas City Chiefs fan base has definitely endured enough pain, and now it's all just it's coming full circle, man. It's coming full circle. Looks like y'all about to be the next dynasty in line, I'll say.
This is the 4th straight year that the conference championship game has been held at Arrowhead.
Right.
So not only have they played in it, but they've had home field advantage for 4 straight years in this conference championship game. I mean, they got something good there. And obviously, I think Cincinnati is a team that can match up with Kansas City. And they proved that.
He said obviously.
I mean, they proved that a few weeks ago in Week 17 with a victory over these Kansas City Chiefs. And so, for me, it just goes to show you, I think we're looking at something. I don't want to say the same game as Bills Chiefs, but I think we're looking at a situation where it's whoever has the ball last is going to win this game. And listen, Burrow and Chase absolutely torched Kansas City in Week 17. I mean, torched. It was Burrow had 446 yards and 4 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, 11 catches, 263 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So, obviously, you don't really think that they're going to repeat that same performance. The Chiefs are going to obviously, try and correct some things. Honey Badger, I don't know what the latest is on him with the injury. That's definitely something that we're going to have to keep our eye on. Concussion, yeah. So we're definitely going to have to keep our eye on the Honey Badger in this game. If he can play, that's going to be huge. If he can't, I think you're looking at the tight end, Uzoma, CJ, to have a pretty good game. And then even if they can, lock down Jamar Chase, similar to what they did with Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins has had some big games this season when Jamar Chase hasn't. And T. Higgins had a great game last week, even though Jamar Chase had over 100 yards. I think Jamar Chase had over 100 yards in 4 or 5 straight games, excluding Week 18 when they took him out, obviously, when they were resting their starters. But, I mean, that's just something to definitely keep your eye on. Obviously, Cincinnati's going to have to do something to try and protect Joe Burrow because they just can't allow 9 sacks. That's ridiculous. You can't. I mean, look, big shout out to Joe Burrow. He kept getting up. The team won the game, but you can't do that against a team like Kansas City. You just can't. You're gonna have to. And the first time that they played in the last game, the Kansas City had 4 sacks and 10 quarterback hits on Joe Burrow in that game. So. And the Bengals are 2-4 when Joe Burrow has been sacked 5 or more times. So obviously you want to try and get that number below there because your odds are not really in your favor. But I think you're gonna have to have some sort of run game. Joe Mixon's been great out of the backfield catching the ball lately, but they're gonna need to be able to run the ball. And I think Kansas City, like as crazy as that game was last week, I think the one thing that people aren't really talking about is how well they ran the ball last week. They had 27 carries for 182 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground last week.
Yeah, that's
I
solid.
really think that if whichever one of these teams can figure out how to run the ball effectively, I'm not necessarily asking for a Beard 40 run roadmap.
Right.
I just think that these offenses click better when there's some sort of run attack working in the game. Obviously because the defense can't be so pass oriented. It definitely makes them have to change some things up. But I just think that this game's going to go back and forth. I really do. I think Joe Burrow is built for moments like these. Obviously, we know Kansas City is the team. Patrick Mahomes, this is what he does. He lives off of this, and I just think there's so much superpowers in this game, like Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill,
Mm-hmm.
Travis Kelce, Mahomes, Burrow, Mixon. I mean, there's all pros, there's Pro Bowlers left and right in this game. I just look. I'm gonna stick with the Bengals, man. I mean, like I've only lost one game all playoffs. I just can't turn my. I have a feeling. I just have this feeling that the Bengals are having that like storybook year. I mean, it sounds ridiculous. It sounds cliche. Obviously, I'm not one to ever pick against the Chiefs, really, unless we're talking about the spread. I'm definitely going to take the Cincinnati Bengals +7. But this game could go. Chiefs could win this game 42-20. It's definitely possible. The Bengals could just come back down to earth just like that. But I am going to take the Cincinnati Bengals in the upset to go to the Super Bowl because I'm trusting my gut. I think it's going to be 37-34.
A lot of points. You made some good points there. As far as Joe Burrow, the one thing that is not obvious to me is that he's going to have one of these games that can compare to what Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen just did in their matchup last week. During the intro, I talked about it there. The 2 playoff games from each quarterback here. Patrick Mahomes' 2 playoff games look just double of what Joe Burrow has done in the playoffs. Pretty much, it's been pretty much outstanding play at the quarterback position for the Chiefs. Now, for me, this is a chance for Joe Burrow to put himself in that conversation legitimately. Mahomes is the kind of guy, we talked about this last show about setting the bar for yourself, and now people kind of like expect Patrick Mahomes to be great. I think with Joe Burrow, we've come to kind of expect that now this season, but we didn't really think about that last season in his rookie year. And to be as young as he is right now, and to be one game out to be trying to play for the Super Bowl, it reminds you a little bit of what Patrick Mahomes did, except it's just not as flashy. Now, you talked about the Week 17 matchup. Yeah, Burrow outplayed Mahomes, but I think there wasn't much riding on that, outside of positioning in the playoffs. And Burrow had a pretty big game last week against the Titans. The 348 passing yards, that was high for sure. I talked about last week how his wide receivers definitely showed up, and a lot of yak was helping him out. Jamar Chase can take those. It reminds you of an Odell Beckham, how he can take that short route and get 40, 50 yards on it, or even take it to the house. I think he's going to need a lot more support in this game, too. You don't want to see one of these games where offensively they're only putting up 1 or 2 touchdowns, in the game, because that's not going to cut it with the Chiefs. And, as far as Joe Burrow goes, he's the first quarterback taken with the number one overall pick to reach the conference championship game within his first 2 seasons as a starter. So he's pushing history right now for sure. If the Bengals win the AFC Championship, Burrow would become the first quarterback since Cam Newton to play in both the college football national championship and the Super Bowl. So this is a guy who came into the league with the high expectations, just like a Trevor Lawrence, but now he's living up to those expectations, and he is, I won't say the sole reason, but he is the main reason why the Cincinnati Bengals have turned that franchise around, and you've seen this rebuild actually come to life here. You talked about Jamar Chase game. I don't got to go over that too much in Week 17. The 266 yards, 3 touchdowns. You can't forget about that. He had the 3 touchdowns in that game as well, too. So we know that offense can have that spark to match the same kind of, dynamic, explosive kind of offense that the Kansas City Chiefs have. But the Chiefs have come accustomed to doing this, if you know what I'm saying. They do this on a regular basis, whereas the Bengals, they're not necessarily that team. So I do think it's going to take another big performance from the wide receiver core. Last week, Jamar Chase, I don't like that he only had 6 targets in the game. I like the 5 catches, 109 yards. That's amazing. That's maximizing the amount of attempts you get and turning them into big yards. But they're going to have to target him more frequent than they did last week. T. Higgins, the supporting cast was amazing. That's the thing. Jamar Chase, I think, needs to elevate his play a little bit more, but I think a lot of that is dependent on Joe Burrow as well. But T. Higgins with the 7 catches for 96 yards last week on 9 targets, and then C.J. Uzomah, 7 receptions for 71 yards on 8 targets. They're going to need that kind of performance to want to try to stay in competition with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, all that said about Burrow, when we talk about Patrick Mahomes here, Tom Brady's still playing. So, the GOAT still does exist. But when it comes to Patrick Mahomes, you're looking at the baby GOAT, bro. He is very young in his career. You're talking about a 26-year-old quarterback who already has the pressure of guys like Aaron Rodgers in this league already. Just a couple little nuggets here from Patrick Mahomes, okay? Mahomes will be the first quarterback in NFL history to start in 4 conference championship games before the age of 27. You talked about the Chiefs hosting the last 4 conference championship games. I mean, it's because of Patrick Mahomes, 1,000%. Patrick Mahomes is just the 4th quarterback in NFL history to record at least 350 yards passing and 50 yards rushing in a playoff game. He did that in that win over the Bills in the divisional round. Mahomes has also thrown 25 touchdown passes in his first 10 playoff starts. I mean, just think about that right there. 25 touchdowns in 10 starts, okay? I got Daniel Jones at quarterback, and I had Jason Garrett as the play caller. We struggle to even know just to get a touchdown per game. And this guy's looking at, at least 1.5 per game, or 2 and some change per game there. Already with 8 passing touchdowns in this postseason, Mahomes needs just 4 more to set an NFL playoff record for passing touchdowns in a single postseason. So he just needs 4 more, and he's got 2 more games to do it, to set this single season postseason actually record. Now, Mahomes also has 8 playoff wins already in his career. Now, let me tell you some quarterbacks that had 8 playoff wins in their career. Eli Manning, Steve Young, and Dan Marino. So Patrick Mahomes is already in that company when it comes to playoffs. Now, I can't overlook his supporting cast because Patrick Mahomes, a lot of people like to say, if Patrick Mahomes, New York Giants fans talk about this all the time. If Mahomes was in New York, it wouldn't be the same. Well, who knows? Because Tyreek Hill was not Tyreek Hill before Patrick Mahomes. They kind of emerged together along with Kelsey. And I'm not taking anything away from those players because they are fantastic players. And I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have some help in this game too. People like to dismiss Tyreek Hill during the regular season. We heard all the talk about Devontae Adams. We know Cooper Kupp, the Triple Crown winner, all that, right? You got guys like A.J. Brown. You got so many different wide receivers to get talked about when you talk about the top 5 wide receivers in the NFL, but no one really likes to mention Tyreek Hill, and I think that's kind of crazy because in just his few seasons in the NFL, 6 seasons, think about the amount of clutch catches you've seen this guy make on 3rd downs, 4th downs, in the playoffs, making big plays all the time. He's almost known to be that guy now. I don't know if you remember the play, I think it was in the last playoffs where they ran that stop route to Tyreek Hill on 4th down and converted. And people were like, why are you running a play short of the sticks like that? Well, when you got Tyreek Hill, you can run those kind of routes, right? Because he's the kind of guy that yak is very important for him. And I went digging through Tyreek Hill's numbers, in his career. I've been kind of just looking at wide receivers in a whole because Antonio Brown, I was looking at his statistics after leaving the Bucks and posting that picture of him on the Ravens. So I'm like, let me look at some other guys in comparison. Now, in 6 seasons, Tyreek Hill has breached 1,100 yards 4 times, man. These are A1 numbers here. In 6 seasons, he's got 67 touchdowns. What are we doing? In 6 seasons, this man has 67 touchdowns. I like to hang my hat on Odell Beckham, where he had the 33 touchdowns or 35 touchdowns, I believe it was, in 3 seasons. But to have 67 total touchdowns in 6 seasons,
too.
It's super consistent. He's been a guy that's seen his way in the end zone his whole career. And he's on the up and up. That's the thing. He had a career high this year with 111 receptions. So this guy's just going, every year he's getting better, but it just seems that the league is getting a little bit more quiet about him. I don't understand it, because he's an explosive playmaker just consistently. He's always making these big plays. And he had 150 yards in the divisional round last week. Tyreek Hill became just the 6th player in NFL history to have multiple playoff games with at least 150 yards receiving. Now, that's just one weapon. we can get to talking about Travis Kelce a little bit here too. Now, Travis Kelce did miss out on 100 yards last week, which would have made 5 straight playoff games with at least 100 yards. But we can just drop that number down a little bit. Travis Kelce's 96 receiving yards in the divisional round made him the first player in NFL history to have at least 90 receiving yards in 5 straight playoff games. The first, bro. Like, no one's ever done this. Both these teams are making history. The Cincinnati Bengals doing it at the quarterback position for sure. And obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs are doing it at the quarterback position as well. But they got the weapons, I feel like, that are going to be the difference maker in this game. Kelce is now 4th all-time in playoff receptions already with 96 and receiving touchdowns. He's 4th as well with 11 touchdowns. With all that said, the Chiefs cannot get too comfortable. They got to play this game with urgency, right? I'm talking about first drive. You got to go out there and score a touchdown. Go out there and put up points early. Don't do what you did against the Pittsburgh Steelers, because this Cincinnati Bengals team is not the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're a very different team. They will take advantage of a slow start and find a way to win this game. So for me, Patrick Mahomes got to come out here with urgency right off the bat. I don't want this game to come down to the wire like you were saying, and I don't think it will. I think the Chiefs are going to handle this game. I really do think that. I think they're going to be in control of this game for most of the game. I don't know if it'll be one of them high-fiving games, where everybody on the sideline celebrating, but I do think it'll be a game where they're in control, right? If you look at the Rams game, I know we're not there yet, but there's a clip going around from NFL's Twitter, where Odell Beckham was on the sidelines when they were up by a ton of points, right? He's like mocking the coach who's like hyping up Van Jefferson, and he's just like imitating him pretty much, like, yeah, that's what you got to do right there. That's what you got to do. Just like clowning on the sidelines in the middle of a playoff game, okay? But then at the end, he said something that was really good. And shout out to Stan, who sent me the clip. He said, it's not about me, it's about we. And I thought that was amazing, And Patrick Mahomes is one of these guys. He knows how to lead his team. We've seen quotables from this guy on the sideline in multiple games. The Texans game is the one that comes to mind, like right off the bat, obviously. But yeah, the Chiefs, they just can't get too comfortable. The Bengals defense last week, we can't forget, they had 3 interceptions last week. I know they was playing up against Ryan Tannehill, but that kind of a start, that can't happen, okay? We got to find a way to play clean football all the way up until the 4th quarter, and then you can start taking risk in the 4th quarter if, indeed, this game is going to be close. But I don't see it like that, like I said. And field goals usually don't cut it against the Chiefs. We know that, okay? Field goals ain't going to cut it. But rookie kicker Evan McPherson, he is having a fantastic playoff run right now. He was 4 for 4 against the Chiefs last week. He was 4 for 4 against the Raiders in the wild card weekend. McPherson is the first player in NFL history to make 4 field goals in back-to-back playoff games. So this kid right now is 8 for 8. He's only 22 years old as a rookie, doing this big on a big grand stage right now. I try to think back to when I was 22 and what kind of pressure I was dealing with. There's no way in hell I could deal with the kind of pressure this kid has dealt with 8 field goal attempts and making all 8 of them. And lastly, there's a lot riding on the line here for Andy Reid. Andy Reid is 19-15 in the playoffs for his career and 9-6 in the postseason as the Chiefs head coach. His 19 wins are tied with Don Shula. I brought this up in the beginning of the playoffs for 3rd most by a head coach in NFL history. Reid trails only Tom Landry and Bill Belichick. So I know I'm not saying like Andy Reid is underrated, but I do think we got to put some more emphasis on that guy's name. I know he's dealt with some excellent quarterback play, and he has had a lot to do with that as well, with going all the way from McNabb to Mike Vick to now with Patrick Mahomes. I think there's a lot on the line here. He's trying to get up here in that history. Now, Bill Belichick does have 31 playoff wins, and Andy Reid is not close to that. But he trails Tom Landry by just 1 win. So you get there, you can at least tie with legendary if you could tie up there with Tom Landry. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs in this game. I think they're going to wholeheartedly handle the Cincinnati Bengals in this game. The Cincinnati Bengals have had a great year up until this point, but I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm going to go 34. I'm going to go 34-20, Kansas City Chiefs.
2-touchdown lead. That'll make Bluegrass Picker happy. Shout out Bluegrass Picker, another one of our day ones. He is a Chiefs fan. Appreciate the $10 super chat. Says Chiefs, and it is at Arrowhead this time. Listen. That place is going to be insane for this game.
Most definitely. Joe Burrow was quoted saying something about playing in the. Did he play? I think he played in the SEC. Is that where he played?
Who, Joe Burrow?
Yeah. Is that the division?
Yeah. Well,
so he played in the
he
SEC.
started out at Ohio State.
Right.
Lost the
but
starting
his
job to
games
Dwayne Haskins.
later were in the SEC, right?
Yeah.
So he was saying that the NFL, the volume of the stands don't got nothing on the SEC. And people were saying you haven't played at Arrowhead yet in the playoffs. So we'll see. Maybe that the 12th man will play a factor in this game as well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to play a factor to some certain, degree. Just especially early. And I think that was one of the points that you brought up that I thought was super important was the start. Because, with Kansas City, a game can get out of hand so quick.
Oh, yeah.
And so, with that crowd and a fast Kansas City start, it can totally, get out of control really fast. So it's going to be interesting to see how both these teams come out, out the gates. Is it going to be a 7-7 game? Is it going to be a 14-0 game, Kansas City? Or are we going to be 0-0 at the end of the first quarter? It could be so many different
And
things,
I think that could be the difference maker for the Chiefs is this. Yeah, they can get out to a crazy lead, and they could blow the socks off of a team in one quarter, okay? We've seen that happen before. But if they do find themselves in a hole, I have more faith in the Chiefs digging themselves out of a hole in the playoffs than I do the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think the experience thing could play a big factor here.
Yeah, I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs are what I like to call a light switch. At any point in time, it's just like, doop.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what just happened?
Pressure could be an issue for Patrick Mahomes. Got to keep him upright in this game, man. And interceptions, man. He plays a very, very gunslinger style of football. Sometimes that can come back to bite you, So for the benefit of me, and I'm sure the Kansas City Chiefs fans, we're looking for Patrick Mahomes to play a clean game here, man. You cannot turn that ball over early and often. Take care of that ball at least throughout the first half, like I said, man. And then if it comes down to it in the fourth quarter where you got to start slinging it, then start slinging it.
Yeah, and he didn't have any interceptions in their first matchup either. I think that was an important thing to see as far as going into this game. And the Bengals, they haven't played very well against top-tier quarterback competition. Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, and Mahomes, I think, were the three best quarterbacks that they faced this year, and all three quarterbacks lit them up. So, they're going to have to step up defensively for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest question mark, too, is Cincinnati's defense. I'm not worried about their offense putting up 21 points and trying to make it a game. But if their defense can show up, then 21 points could maybe be enough or be close to enough to, put them in position to try to maybe kick a game-winning field goal again. We will see, man. I like the Chiefs' odds in this game. Favored by 7, I think, might be a little bit low, but it's the playoffs. So, teams don't get here out of nowhere. You got to put in that work to get here, and the Cincinnati Bengals have definitely put in that work. A surprise team for me to be this far in the playoffs, sitting here in the AFC Championship game this early in Joe Burrow's career, too.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. I just hoping for a good game, right? Something competitive.
Yeah, everybody says that. For me, man, when the team I'm rooting for is blowing the socks off the other team, that's a good game for me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for the Chiefs to really light it up, man. I want to see, continued dominance from Patrick Mahomes again. I want to see like a 3-4 touchdown game. And we'll see how it goes, man. Let's get to these over-unders, and we'll talk about how many touchdowns Patrick Mahomes might just have in this game. We'll see. All right, so on the flip side, too, we'll start this out with Joe Burrow one time. We'll start this out with Joe Burrow. You got that paper ready?
Oh, you know it.
This essay about half as long as the one we did last Thursday. All right, so, chat, y'all know how this works, man. We're going to put up some over-unders on the screen. If you want to take the over, put an O in the chat. If you want to take the under, put a U in the chat. If you want to take the push, put a P in the chat, or put that hand emoji for my youngins out there one time, savvy with that emoji keyboard one time. All right, Beard, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm ready myself. Joe Burrow over 2 passing touchdowns versus the Chiefs. Chat, what y'all thinking about this one? Is Joe Burrow going to have over 2 passing touchdowns on Sunday at 3 p.m. versus the Chiefs? Or are you taking the under? Let's see what y'all talking about in the chat before the Beard gives me his. Shout out my guy, Mac, the Giants fan, one time in the building. He's taking Joe Burrow over 2 passing touchdowns one time. Oh, it's lit. My man Kai 001 in the building. He's taking the under. E. Sud's taking the push. So our first 3 votes are 3 different votes right off the bat. I like it. JJ Stengel and No Mets, No Nets, No Jets are both taking the over. Bluegrass is taking the push one time. Fluid is taking the over. Shout out to Fluid one time in the building. Flem Dog taking the push. Shout out my guy Flem Dog one time. Fabian taking the over one time. Old Man Rob taking that push. Stephen White taking the over. We got a couple of pushes out here. Ignacio one time is taking that push as well. Shout out Mr. Mini Guy in the building taking that under. Edward GQ Squires taking that over along with Jake SW Hunter. My man Robert taking the under one time. Zach taking the over. Threality says 2+. That's what's up. So he's probably taking the over or the push one time. Fluid says he's taking the over one time. Sabrina is taking the push. And Mike K is taking the push. The Beard, I know you high on Joe Burrow and these Bengals. You got Joe Burrow going over 2 passing touchdowns versus the Chiefs or what?
I almost took the push, but I'm going to go over. Take it over.
I like the confidence. I like the confidence. I will take the push as well. I'm going to go Joe Burrow goes with 2 passing touchdowns versus the Chiefs one time. All right, let's keep this moving. We still got a little bit left on this instrumental to let it rock out for another one here. That extra 0 scared the hell out of me right there. Jamar Chase over 69 receiving yards versus the Chiefs. Chat, how y'all feeling about this one? Jake says his score for the game is going to be 31-24. I'm guessing that's in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, and my man E-Sud says, let me sneak this in. Hit that thumbs up button one time, sub up, and get down with the chat if you're new. I like that. Appreciate my guy one time holding us down. No Mets, No Nets, No Jets says he's taking the over for Jamar Chase. We got a lot of overs here. Over, 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 over. Old man Rob getting hit with them emojis, taking the over. Kai with the over. E-Suds, over, 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 over. Robert with the over. Fabian with the over. Beard, I'm taking it, you taking the over.
You know it.
Beard's taking 69. The over. Do I want to get froggy in a leap here? 69 yards from Jamar Chase. Nah, man, he's a big player that's going to show up in a big moment here. I'm taking the over one time with Jamar Chase over 69 receiving yards on the day. Okay, I like this completion one from last time. I upped the ante a little bit. Joe Burrow over 28 completions versus the Chiefs. I knew he was going to like this one, the Beard.
That's how many he had last week, right?
I'm not even sure. I figured they'd be playing from down behind a little bit there. 28 would seem reasonable if you're behind on the scoreboard. Chat, how y'all feeling about this one? Are y'all taking Joe Burrow over 28 completions? Let's see. We're going to be starting right here with No Mets, No Nets, No Jets, who's taking the under one time. We got Mac, the Giants fan, taking the over, and Kai taking the push. 3 first answers, all 3 different. Stephen White taking the under. Flem Dog taking that over along with my man JJ Stengel. Sabrina's taking the under along with Mike K. Edward Squires taking that push. Old man Rob taking that over along with Bluegrass Picker. Jake SW Hunter is taking the push. Robert taking the under along with Fabian. Taco Nacho, shout out my guy Taco Nacho one time in the building. He's taking the under along with Lax. The Beard, Joe Burrow over 28 completions versus the Chiefs. What you got?
This is really difficult. I want to take the push, but I feel like that doesn't really give me much room. I'm going to take
Shout out Ronald Patterson. He's taking the over. What you got, Beard?
You know what? I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take 29. I think he's going to go 29. 29 or 30. He's going to have to, I think. I'm going with the game plan.
That one
game
is so
script.
tough.
It's so tough.
I'm going to have to phone a friend here. Hold on. It's like not.
What?
What up, Taco? How you living, bro? I'm going to take, it is difficult, man. It's the most difficult one I have, I think, on the whole day here. I'm going to take the over. I'm with you on it. 29. I think it'll be 29 completions. I'm with you. taking that over. I don't know. That don't feel right. I should just pick the same answers you picked so I can't lose. I think that's probably a good game plan here. Joe Mixon over 89 yards rushing versus the Chiefs. It's another tough one here. Chat, what y'all got on this one? Y'all got Joe Mixon going over 89 yards rushing versus the Chiefs? The Beard's got to go check some stats real quick. What y'all thinking, chat? Y'all like Joe Mixon over or under 89 yards rushing on the day? Okay. So we got a bunch of answers coming in hot. No Mets, Mac the Giants fan, Bluegrass, Mike K, Flemdog, all taking the under right off the bat. Taco Nacho in the building one time. He's taking the over. Red is taking the under. Lax taking that over one time along with E. Suds. Then we got 4 unders in a row from Robert, Jake, Kai, and Sabrina. And an under from Fabian. Stephen White's taking that over one time. Old Man Rob and Zach are taking the under along with JJ Stangle. Lax says, if the Bengals want to win, they need to control the clock with the run. It's a good point, Lax. The Beard, what you got on this one?
Joe Mixon hasn't gone over 89 yards rushing in the last 6 weeks. I'm going to take the under. I think he does better than what he's been doing. I think he's going to land at around 80, and I think he'll go over 100 all-purpose yards. But I think he's going to go under 89 rushing.
I like it. I'm going to give you a little chance here on this one, okay? I'm taking see, but if the Chiefs get out to that early lead, it's going to ruin this for me. Nah, man, I gotta take the under with you on this one. I'm sorry. 6 straight games. Joe Mixon is definitely going to get the carries, but I don't know if he'll get over the 89 yards. I'm going to take the under as well. Red says it's going to be a shootout between the Chiefs and the Bengals. We shall see. We shall see. All right, we got a couple more here for this game before we move into the Rams 49ers game. Joe Burrow over 262 passing yards versus the Chiefs. At least how you just smirked at that, like 262.
Remember last week, man? I was the 350.
Yeah, you feeling confident. You feeling confident. I like it. I like it. Over 262. I got to look up some stats real quick now. You like that? I just want to see what he averaged on the year.
He probably averaged like 275, I'd say, on the year.
That's high, man. That's high.
I mean, he was one of the top 5 statistical quarterbacks in most categories.
How the chat looking on this one? How the chat looking on
Mahomes actually had a pretty even. I'll start going through them for you while you look up this stats. So we got an O from the great Rozelle. I almost forgot how to properly say that, so I started off with the great, and then I remembered. Mac the Giants fan with the over. Red's going over. Edward GQ Squires is going over. Jake SW Hunter's going over. Mike K going OHIO over. Jamar Chase using the running game a lot as well. Very true, Zach. Flem Dog's going Taco Nacho saying way over. JJ Stangle's taking the over. And here we go. We got some unders. Under for Sabrina. Under for Robert. These are under everything Chiefs so far. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that. And Kai is in a push mood tonight. He's going with a push again. I mean, listen, if he hits it 262 on the spot, that'll be crazy. Stephen White's going over. Jeff is in the building. Good to see you. Over for Zach because Bengals love those level routes. Jeff's going with the over. E. Suds going over. Robert Paris is going over. Old Man Rob going over. Bluegrass over. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets over. Marjorie's in the building. Good to see you, Marjorie. Hope you're doing well. And Fabian with the over as well.
He's got 6 games under that in his whole season this year. I'm gonna take the over. Yeah, I'm looking for ways to give you a chance. You know what I'm saying? You know, but this ain't the one. This ain't the one. Shout out the chat one time, man. What was the overall consensus? They were taking the over, right?
Most people were taking the overs. We had a few unders there, and Kai jumping out, with the push.
I like it. All right, we got a couple more. All right, I thought this one was an interesting one. This is going to be Tyreek Hill will have more receiving yards than Jamar Chase. Chat, how y'all feeling about this one? We taking the over? We taking Tyreek Hill for the over? Or we taking Jamar Chase for the under? Tyreek Hill will have more receiving yards than Jamar Chase. How you feeling about that, Beard? You already got your answer for this one?
Listen, you've been in the kitchen cooking up some good ones, my man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is tough.
Yeah, Marjorie says over.
That is a good battle, Kai. It is. It really is. Because
Yes.
all right, let me ask you this before we go to the chat's responses.
Yep.
How much faster you think Tyreek Hill is than Jamar Chase?
Good 1/10 of a second, maybe.
Do you think Jamar Chase is the closest person in speed that you've seen?
No. I know that breakaway run looked great. Jamar Chase ain't one of the fastest players in the NFL. I'll keep it funky with you. Sorry. He fast. His game speed is different than his real speed, too. He fast. But he don't got that speed where you see it. Like, dang, they can't. He ain't got this kind of speed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a different kind of speed, bro. Kai said a whole second, though. A whole second. I like that.
Man.
So what you think? You think Tyreek Hill will have more receiving yards than Jamar Chase?
I'm gonna go Jamar Chase.
You got a shot here. I'm gonna go Tyreek Hill on this one for more yards for sure.
That is tough though.
Shout out NPZ PRD one time in the building. Appreciate you pulling up, my guy. Hank is in the building too. He says, who is the best wide receiver left? Kupp, Tyreek Hill, Debo, or Chase?
Ooh, man.
I'm taking Debo out because Debo's like a running back / wide receiver. I think he's probably one of the better playmakers. But if we're just going wide receiver, I got to go Tyreek.
Debo had the second most receiving yards of all of those guys.
Yeah, look at his team though. Look at the other guys on his team. Cooper Kupp won a triple crown with Van Jefferson and Robert Woods over there and Odell Beckham Jr. for half the season. I'm going Kupp or Tyreek Hill, but if I had to pick one of them, I'm picking Tyreek Hill. Like if I'm starting a franchise right now and you go, hey, give me one of those players, I'm taking Tyreek Hill.
I mean, I literally think I agree verbatim with you with that answer. But if I had to take a dark horse, like to be different, I might take Debo Samuel.
Yeah, Debo's a beast, man. Debo's definitely a beast.
Listen, that is a really good question, and that is a really stout group of wide receivers there.
Facts. All right, so we got the Tyreek Hill one out the way. Let's go over to Travis Kelce here. Over 92 receiving yards versus the Bengals. How y'all feeling about this one, chat? He's had over 90 yards in 5 straight playoff games, if you didn't hear in the breakdown I did earlier. How y'all feeling about Travis Kelce going over 92 receiving yards? Ooh, this is a good idea right here from Kai. He said y'all should make an all Awthentik and The Beard team.
Oh, that's dope. I like that.
We should do that. That'd be fun. That'd be a good live stream, man. We appreciate that idea, bro. Definitely going to put that into play. Mac the Giants fan is going to go with the push one time on the 92 receiving yards from Travis Kelce. JJ's going with the under. Edward Squires with the push one time. Oh, 2 pushes. Shout out Jeff one time in the building. What's up, Jeff? He's taking the under on this one. Red taking the over along with MPZ PRD and Bluegrass Picker. Jameson back in the building, fresh off a good nap. What up, coach? He's taking the under one time. Stephen White taking the over. Reality taking the under. Taco Nacho over. Flem Dog taking that under one time. Kai is taking the under. Mike K taking the under. Old man Rob's getting nice with these emojis one time. He's taking that over one time. Jeff says he'll have about 75 to 80 yards. Marjorie takes the over. A push from Jake. A under from No Mets, No Nets. And E. Suds. And Ronald Patterson. And Jameson. Shout out my guy Stan in the building one time. Sock Passe. He's taking the over one time. And Zach, cheers, is taking the under because the Bengals will take away from Kelce but open up Tyreek. Robert's taking that over, and Sabrina is taking the under. What you got, Beard?
I'm taking the under. I think I agree with Jeff. I think he's going to get right around 75, 80.
Big-time players make big-time plays, bro.
Yeah, they do.
Travis Kelce's going to go over. I'll give you a little buffer. I'll give you the 8-yard buffer. He's going over 100.
Ooh, look at you.
He's going over 100. All right, couple more left for this game right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 solid ones left. Whew, these are so good. Okay. Joe Burrow will throw more interceptions than Patrick Mahomes. Y'all taking the over? Will Joe Burrow throw more interceptions than Patrick Mahomes on Sunday? Don't forget this game is at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get to your TVs early. Don't be waiting until 4 o'clock. Mac, the Giants fan, is taking the push. Thinks they'll both throw the equal amount of interceptions. That's a great play right there, Mr. Mac. Jeff says he's taking the O. My man MPZ said Kenny G is a big player. He doesn't make big-time plays.
I saw that.
Red taking the push along with Taco Nacho and Stephen White. We got an over from Bluegrass, and we got an over from Jeff as well. I think you take away Kelsey or Hill, you have to. That's what Mike K's advice is. E-Suds taking that push. JJ Stengel taking that under one time. Flemdog taking that push along with Sabrina and Marjorie and NPZ and Jameson. Cheers to my man Zach one time taking that under. Old man Rob taking the push. Robert taking the O one time. A push from Edward Squires. Mike K taking that over. No interceptions. Taking a push from Kai. Shout out my guy Juice Jones one time in the building. He's taking the over on this one. Stan is taking the over as well. And 3-ality is in the building with the push one time. Real quick shout out to the homie 3-ality. I went and checked out his tunes the other day, man. Conscious, uplifting, lyrics, had visuals to go with it. Salute to you. It was political a little bit. I'm definitely digging the vibes, bro. Keep sending me links, man. I appreciate that, bro. And let's see. Jake is taking the O because he have to take more of a risk. That's a good point, man. Joe Burrow's definitely going to have to take some risks to win this game for sure. The Beard, what you got on Joe Burrow will throw more interceptions than Patrick Mahomes?
I'm going push.
I'm going to go ahead and just take the over in this one. I think Joe Burrow's going to find a way to throw at least one interception in this game. And if he doesn't, Patrick Mahomes will throw a negative interception. All right? Let's go to the couple for Patrick Mahomes before we get up off this game one time. We got Patrick Mahomes over 315 yards passing versus the Bengals. Chat, what you got on this one? Y'all taking the over on this one? Zach says, I got an idea. How about over-unders on bad calls from the refs? Because we definitely been seeing that. At least one game over the weekend has had that happen. So, yeah, I definitely think the refs are going to screw something up for sure. Let's see what the chat's talking here. Flemdog takes the O. Edward Squires takes the O. Marjorie takes the O. Jeff with the O. Suds with the O. JJ Stengel taking the under. Stephen White with the over. Jeff's taking that over. Yup. Jameson takes the over. Kai takes the over. We got a lot of overs here. Big time over, says Robert. Bluegrass says over. Bluegrass is so pro Chiefs. Oh, man, it's crazy.
Him and Robert built the entire thing. Has been. I've been laughing at their pick.
Yeah, they straight pick. I would be doing the same thing in the playoffs with my squad. I'll keep it funky with you. Ronald Patterson taking the over. Zach taking the under. E-Suds is taking the over. Hank taking the over. And old man Rob still using them good old emojis. Shout out to old man Rob. He's taking the over as well. Got overs from Hank, Mike, No Mets, Sabrina, Jake, and NPZ PRD on this one. Stan's taking the push. 3-ality says he'll get to about 309. He's taking the under. And Taco Nacho, last but not least, is taking the over. Beard, what you got?
I thought about taking the under. I really did. But I got to take the over on this. I think he's going to have a lot of yards, but I think the Bengals' red zone defense will take away some touchdowns.
Okay, well, touchdowns ain't going to have nothing to do with this 315 yards passing.
That's why I'm taking the over.
I got you. I'm taking the over as well, too. Okay, let's get to this next one. Let me set this one up. Check the Sandlot, too. Patrick Mahomes, over 3 passing touchdowns versus the Bengals. Over is the key word here. Patrick Mahomes, over 3 passing touchdowns. If you think he's going to get 3, take the push on this one time. Chat, what y'all thinking about Patrick Mahomes getting over 3 passing touchdowns on the day versus the Bengals? Mac, the Giants fan, says this game is going to be an aerial assault. Jeff's taking the over. Mac, the Giants fan, taking a push one time. Hank wants to know if we're taking the over, the under on 2.5 rushing yards for Matthew Stafford. I will take the over on that. Kai is taking the push. Edward Squires is taking the over. Zach is taking the push. NPZ taking that over big time. Marjorie's taking the push. We got overs from Stephen White, Flem Dog, Old Man Rob, and Taco Nacho. I got a push from Marjorie, Lax, Jameson, and Anthony. Taking a push. I'm surprised. Very surprised here, Mr. Picker. Jake's taking a push along with Mike K. And Robert says, oh, you know I'm going over. Stephen White said, oops. You don't hear oops too often. I like that word. That's a good one. Oops, he's taking a push one time. Esud's taking that push one time. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets, taking the over. Sabrina's also taking a push along with Juice Jones one time. And Jeff rounds this off by saying great QBs and great playmakers will equal an all-out or an all-air-out game. Shout out to Thigh66 one time in the building. Definitely digging that profile pick one time. Thigh is taking the push one time. Red taking the over. Ronald taking the over. Knowledge in the building one time, taking the under. I feel like this week's games will be a letdown compared to last week's games. I feel you. We are definitely setting ourselves up for that because last week's games were just tremendous. And Stan Albert, last but not least, is taking the push. Beard, what you got on Patrick Mahomes going over 3 passing touchdowns versus the Bengals?
I'm going with my man Stan, and I'm taking the push.
This is tough. This is tough, man. This is tough. I'm taking the over. Patrick Mahomes is going to have 4 touchdowns on the day. Let's get a beer some opportunity here, you know?
Listen, man, I don't need no gimme opportunities, man. I got you.
You need them. You do need them. You down by about 4 picks, and if I don't give you opportunities, you're not going to get a win here, okay? Jameson says, I like doing this game, Authentic. Shout out to you, Jameson. I like this game, too. It's a fun way to get the chat interactive and, involved in what we're doing up here on Authentic and The Beard. We appreciate all y'all tuning in, pulling up to the show, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Nobody here is a fan. Everybody here is fam. We appreciate all of y'all in the building one time. Y'all know what it is. We got one more game to go over, and we got just a couple more over-unders here for this game. I got an interesting one I'm going to end this with. So we had Patrick Mahomes with the touchdowns. Don't bring that up quite yet. I still got a couple over-unders here. Let's see. We got the 3 touchdowns. We're going to end it with this one right here. Who will score the first touchdown in the Bengals versus Chiefs game? You like I switch it up on them?
Team or player?
Come on, bro. Player, man. These are player props, man. These ain't team props.
I gotta double check. This comes down to the coin toss.
It for surely does. It for surely does. Or it could come down to the side of the ball that people don't like to talk about in the NFL. The defense making a stop.
Authentic face.
Because it's not just offense in football. Okay? All right, let's see what names we got in the chat one time popping up here. We got Jamar Chase from my man Jeff. JJ Stengel, we're going to need a name one time. We got Byron Pringle from Kai 001. That's a little unsung vibe right there. We got Tyler Boyd from Mike K in the building one time. Steve White says hi. How's it going, Steve? Mac the Giants fan says whoever gets the ball first. We need a player one time. Mahomes rushing touchdown, says the Chiefs fan.
I won a lot of money on that exact bet. Was that 2 Super Bowls ago? We were at Scotty Boom's house. I was in the basement going crazy, and that was the prop bet that I took. I put a lot of money on Mahomes rushing as the first touchdown of the game, and it hit. That was crazy.
Congrats, man. Let me borrow some money, man.
Nah, I just spent
The way my
$300
oil
on a damn
set up.
oil pan, man.
Sabrina thinks it'll be Travis Kelce. E-Suds agrees it'll be Travis Kelce as well. Stephen White says the Chiefs. Let's see. Bluegrass says Pringle. Marjorie says Joe Burrow. I like how she added the S too. It's like how we add the S to Marvin. We going to Marvin's. Debo Samuels. I love that. I love adding the S. It just makes it more swaggy. Mac the Giants fan says it'll be Higgins. Flemdog said loving the beat. Appreciate that, Flemdog. Appreciate you pulling up, bro. Let's see. Stephen White said he's taking the over. Yo, Perry Mack said the cheetah. I almost read Don Cheadle. NPZPRD says McKinnon. I like that too. Old Man Rob says Mahomes. Reality says it's going to be CJ Uzomah. Ronald says it's going to be Tyreek Hill. Edward Squires says Jamar Chase. Red says Pringle. Miko Hardman I see from Stan on an end around. I like that. Jamar Chase from Jamison Taylor one time. Mahomes passing touchdown. Now, if it's a passing touchdown, it's who receives it who will be the person. So keep that in mind. Reality says me too, Beard, me too. I only won like 200, but still 200 is a bag in my life. I'll take 200 any day.
Sure. All day.
Hank says the Honey Badger with a pick 6 if he clears concussion protocol. Walmarts. Marjorie said, well, I'm going to the Walmarts. I like that. We got McKinnon. Who else we got here? We got Mahomes to Kelce from Jake S.W. Hunter. And MPZ also says he thinks McKinnon will be a big factor in this game. I thought that about last game, and he wasn't a big factor in it, but, hopefully he can bounce back and get things together.
He did have, I think, over 50 yards receiving, though. Which is
That's not a big game for me, bro.
Yeah, I feel you, man, but it was
and Steve White says, Kelce, who you got in this one? You want me to go first?
I'm going with a name nobody said.
Oh, you setting yourself up.
Joe Mixon.
That's a good one, actually. No one said Mixon, and that is a good one, though. Joe Mixon with the first touchdown. I'm going to go Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Oh, look at you. A little running back.
Yeah, I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire to get the first touchdown. But, man, the Chiefs know how to score from outside that red zone, so who knows? Shout out my man Sank Zappa one time in the building. What's going on, brother? Hope all is well over there. We just going over the last over-under from the Chiefs-Bengals matchup here, and we're about to get into the San Francisco 49ers at the Los Angeles Rams. We did about 10 over-unders here. We got about 10 more for that game, too, so stick around, Sank. Good to see you in the building one time. All right, so you went Mixon. I went Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Is that really what I want to do?
It's not bad.
I'm going to regret this, but I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go Travis Kelce. I'm going to go Travis Kelce. Yeah. Let's go Travis Kelce, man. All right, that does it for the over-under segment for the Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, man, let's get into this next one, man. This should be a really good one. I'm looking forward to this game. You know I'm a Rams fan now, bro. I'm converted. I turned into a Rams fan. That is what it is. Let's get this back up here one time. All right. The Rams will face the 49ers for the second time in 3 weeks and the third time this season as conference championship weekend takes shape. With a do-or-die game on the horizon, the Rams will have to flip their internal switch in an attempt to revamp their approach in beating a 49ers team that they haven't beat since 2018, bruh. Come on, bruh. The 49ers swept the season series with the Rams this season and have won 6 straight games against the Rams. Since Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay were both hired in 2017, the 49ers have won 7 of the 10 matchups between these two. The 49ers are seeking their 8th Super Bowl appearance, which would tie the Broncos, Steelers, and the Cowboys for the second highest total, trailing only the New England Patriots with 11. Whew. Kickoff is set for Sunday at 6 p.m., Super Bowl kind of time. I'm not liking these times. I'm more of a 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time guy, 8 p.m., you know what I'm saying? The Rams are favored by 3.5 points, and the over-under is 46. I'll start with this one. And the question I had to ask myself about this game is, after that victory that the Rams got last week, is Matthew Stafford the difference maker? And I definitely think he is. Stafford's 366 passing yards in the Rams divisional round win over the Buccaneers was the most by a Rams quarterback in a playoff game since 2000, Kurt Warner, when he passed for 414 yards in the Super Bowl, I might add. The Rams are 8-0 in games in which Stafford does not throw an interception. That is going to be a pivotal statistic going into this game because Stafford cannot turn the ball over. The Rams are a totally different team when Stafford is throwing interceptions. That high-powered offense comes right back down to earth. Now, with the win Sunday, Stafford would become the 7th starting quarterback to reach the Super Bowl in his first year with a new team. That's a very rare achievement that you see from quarterbacks going to another team and making their way to the Super Bowl. So with the W on Sunday, Stafford will see himself in the Super Bowl, and he'll be just the 7th starting quarterback to do so in his first year with the new team. Stafford was sacked 7 times and picked off 4 times in the 2 games versus the 49ers earlier this year. So we know he's got to clean this up. For Matthew Stafford to have an impressive performance on Sunday, Cooper Kupp and company must show up in this game. Got to take some pressure off Stafford. You don't want him running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to make plays on his own. Like I said last week for the Rams, no key drops and no big fumbles. The 4 fumbles in that game last week almost cost them the game, 2 of them coming from Cam Akers, 1 of them coming from Cooper Kupp, and then 1 of them coming on a botched snap that went over Matthew Stafford's head. Those kind of things can't happen in this game. You got to come out here, show up, and play mistake-free football. Now, Cooper Kupp, his 183 receiving yards against the Buccaneers were the most by a Ram in the playoffs in the Super Bowl era. This dude, like, when you see Cooper Kupp running around on the field, he don't even look like a guy like Tyreek Hill. You know, I said about the eye test with the speed, right? When you asked me about the speed differences between Jamar Chase and Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill has speed that you can see it. That's why they call him the cheetah, because he literally looks like a cheetah on the field. Cooper Kupp kind of looking like, you know, he could be working at the hardware store, but he's getting it done. He is definitely getting it done. Coop has scored. Coop. Maybe I should just start calling him Coop. Shout out Scotty Booms one time. Cooper in the building, all right? Cooper Kupp.
2x4s, though, Coop.
Cooper Kupp has scored a touchdown in 7 of his past 8 games. With a touchdown versus the 49ers, he will become the first player in Rams franchise history to score a receiving touchdown in 3 straight games in a single postseason. Now, Cooper Kupp and OBJ, they will need more help. They're going to need some help from Tyler Higbee and Van Jefferson. Odell Beckham last week, I thought he was the spark for that whole game. Maybe that's why he was clowning on the sidelines, because he felt like, hey, man, my work is done. First half work, finished. I'm out of here. He had 6 receptions for 69 yards on the day. Now, Tyler Higbee had 4 receptions for 51 yards. And to me, he's going to need a bigger game. No drops from Tyler Higbee. I need him to show up. Van Jefferson, the 2 for 29. That's not going to get it done. I need at least one big play from Van Jefferson. The over-under for his yardage last week was 40 yards, and we were saying he should be able to get that in one play. He got 2 receptions. He was just under 30 yards on the day. Now, you got to keep Stafford cleaner than Jimmy Garoppolo. That's another key to victory for me. Like, Stafford can take a couple sacks, right? He could get sacked twice on a day, 3 times on a day. But if that's going to be the case, then his defense is going to have to get to Garoppolo more and put more pressure on Garoppolo. Now, both Nick Bosa and Armstead recorded 2 sacks in San Francisco's win over the Packers, becoming the first pair of 49ers teammates to each have 2 sacks in a playoff game since 1995. That was back when, like, primetime was over there. The 49ers defense has recorded at least 5 sacks in back-to-back playoff games for the 3rd time in franchise history and the 1st time since 1984. So for me, it's all about, can that defensive front from the Rams get to Jimmy Garoppolo more than the 49ers front can get to Matthew Stafford. You don't want to see Matthew Stafford under duress. I don't want to see him pressure bust pipes, bro. And that could definitely happen with Matthew Stafford, a guy who's not accustomed to being in these big spotlight games like he talked about. But he said that this is what he lives for, so he's going to get some big spotlight games here, starting with this one on Sunday. Von Miller, I need Von Miller to show up, man. You know, this is why they brought him over here. You know, acquired him midway through the season. This guy now has recorded a sack in 4 straight playoff games and 6 straight games dating back to the regular season. We need to see more of that. The over-under on Von Miller sacks last week on our show here was 1. We took the push. We were both correct on that. That's kind of where I want to see Von Miller living come Sunday in this game against the Bengals. The 49ers now on the opposite side of the ball here, they're going to have to do a lot more. To me, they were the least impressive playoff team of the teams that are remaining right now of the 4 teams. Offensively, they didn't even have a touchdown last week, and that's not going to get it done. So they're going to need at least 1 touchdown to compete in this game. But like my man, The Beard, always says, they got to run the damn ball. The 49ers are averaging 145.5 rushing yards per game in 2 games versus the Rams. And this is another little nugget here. The 49ers are 9-1 when Deebo Samuel, let me call him Deebo Samuels. Shout out to Marjorie one time. The 49ers are 9-1 when Deebo Samuels has at least 5 rushing attempts in a game. So I think that that's going to be a pivotal number. We need to get Deebo Samuel over that 5 attempts. I'd make it even a little comfy and get him about 8 or 9 attempts in this game. And last thing I'll say about this game before I give you a score prediction on it is I had to ask myself this too. Could special teams become important in this game like it was last week for the San Francisco 49ers? Robbie Gould, we talked about him in the last matchup last Thursday as well in our preview show. 20 for 20 now on field goal attempts in his career in the playoffs. The 49ers had both a block punt and a block field goal in the divisional round, becoming the first team to do both of those in a playoff game since the 1988 Buffalo Bills. So I don't know if special teams will come into play in this game. I do think the field goal kicker is going to be an important aspect for the San Francisco 49ers in this game. But it's kind of the same way I looked at the Bengals matchup against the Chiefs, right? Our field goal is going to be enough to keep up with Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, OBJ, and the rest of this offense. I'm not sure. We need a bounce-back game from Cam Akers. Every time I write down a Cam Akers statistic, Cam Akers sounds like a field goal kicker to me. I'm sorry. That name does not sound like a running back. Cam Akers from 54 yards out, hits up. Sounds like that, okay? I don't know if Philadelphia had a kicker named Akers. I think they did have a kicker named Akers.
David Akers.
It really sounds like a kicker's name. You ain't never met no black dude named Cam Akers for sure. I'll tell you that. But Cam Akers is definitely going to have to show up in this game. Them 2 fumbles he had last week, the 20-plus carries, and to be sitting under 50 yards with 20-plus carries, that's not the Cam Akers we've came accustomed to seeing on the football field, especially in the playoffs. Don't forget last season in the playoffs, this kid showed out, made a big name for himself. So I'm looking for a big game from Cam Akers as well. Kyle Shanahan right now is 4-1 in the playoffs as coach of the 49ers. That 1 loss came in the Super Bowl. So a lot on the line here. Sean McVay, 5-3 in the playoffs. McVay has the most playoff wins in Rams franchise history. With the win Sunday, he will become the first Rams head coach to coach in multiple Super Bowls. I think that's pretty interesting as well. So Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, these are the 2 young, evolving minds in the NFL that everybody wants to try to find an offensive mastermind like these 2 guys when in your search for a new head coach or a new offensive coordinator. I think they are the staple of what an offensive coordinator should be. I believe both of these guys were coaches underneath the Washington football team coaching staff at one point, that's just disgraceful that you let these 2 guys go, that they now become 2 of the best play callers in the NFL. I'm going to go with Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, and the Rams in this game. This one shouldn't be close, man. I'll keep it funky with you. The 49ers been getting really lucky. They got the nice weather last week, to play to their advantage when they played the Packers. I don't think the same thing is going to happen in this game with nice weather in Los Angeles. I think we're going to get the Rams to be the second team to play a Super Bowl in their own stadium, which will be at SoFi Stadium. And that follows up the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just did it last year. Give me the Rams in this game. I'm going to go 31. I'm going to go 31. I think they'll get about 3 field goals and a touchdown. I'm going to go 31. 3 field goals, that sound about right? Nah. I'm going to go 31-17. 2 touchdowns, 1 field goal.
I mean, look, you pretty much killed everything with that game. And while doing so, you actually almost made me reconsider who I was going to pick for this game. When this season started, the Los Angeles Rams were my, dark horse pick to go to the Super Bowl. And I kind of had doubts when Cam Akers tore his Achilles. But they have definitely. I think the Rams.
I don't like that you use the word dark horse.
Well, I mean, coming out, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were the Rams. They've made some huge changes throughout the season that they didn't necessarily start out the team that they are right now.
Yeah,
but I think
big acquisition from Von Miller and Odell Beckham for sure. But I
Von
felt
Miller,
like
Odell
for
Beckham,
most people, it was Super Bowl or bust for the Rams.
Yeah, but I think that Super Bowl or bust sort of situation, it definitely had some of it with the Matthew Stafford acquisition. But I think it got even more so with Odell, Sony Michel, and Von Miller. All those acquisitions, giving up those picks along the way. Obviously, they didn't have to give up any picks for Odell, but still, it just I think I like what happened to the Rams when they hit that little skid. I think that really, to face that sort of adversity and to get where they are right now in the NFC Championship game, I think is going to prove to be the difference maker for them internally, mentally. And because, they're going against the 49ers team that's beaten them twice already this year. And like you said, 6 times in a row. And the team that is going for the sweep, right? So a team that has played the other team twice and then going into the third game has a record of 20-12 in those games.
It's not bad. I remember that stat flying around back when Eli Manning and them were going through their playoff run because we beat 2 or 3 teams, I want to say, that beat us in the regular season.
Yeah, so for going in for the third win, the team is 20-12. So that definitely, lends towards the 49ers.
Ooh, the Bucks were involved in that statistic last season too because the Saints had took care of the Bucks in the regular season, and then it was their third time playing, I believe, in the playoffs.
So, Cooper Kupp has showed up in every game against the 49ers. 100-plus yards receiving in both the games, both the losses. Deebo Samuel is going to the Rams have to figure out a way to stop Deebo Samuel because obviously there's George Kittle. Brandon Ayuk has come along in the second half of this season. He was for some reason in the doghouse early on. Obviously Kittle had the best game of all of them last week, even though he had that one big drop. But with Deebo Samuel, he's 130-plus yards in both matchups against the Rams this season. So they're definitely going to have to find a way to stop Deebo Samuel. And obviously, like you said, with the Matthew Stafford stats, with the interceptions, he's thrown 2 interceptions in each game against the 49ers this season. And the big stat you talked about, his record with the interceptions, his rating. When he has 100-plus quarterback rating, the Rams are 11-0. So, it's easy to say, it's, relies on, can Matthew Stafford and Jimmy G, which one of them doesn't turn the ball over? Basically, that team's going to win the game. But I think this also is going to come down to the trenches. I really do, because both these teams have outstanding defensive lines, and I think that whoever can get to that quarterback the most, and not necessarily the most sacks, but the pressure is so key because we've seen both of these quarterbacks make mistakes under pressure. So I think that whoever can get the most pressure is going to come away with the victory. The run game's obviously going to be important for sure. What's going on, Jeff Maldo, 76 in the building? So I'm going to stick.
Got a quick question for you too before you go for your pick.
Do you think the Rams still make it this far if Cam Akers doesn't get hurt and they don't acquire these additional free agents? Yeah, I think that if Cam Akers doesn't get hurt, I still think they make it this far. But I think that the move for Odell Beckham and Von Miller, I think are super important. It's shown you with Von Miller what he's done the last 6 games. Those sacks are definitely important. And Odell, people tend to forget that they got Odell before Robert Woods went down with the injury. Like, it literally was simultaneous.
Literally a couple days, yeah. It was
know what I'm saying? But
it was like the first day Odell was in the locker room, Woods got hurt at practice that day.
Yeah. It's like, imagine if they don't make that move and they don't have Odell, It could definitely have some huge effects because Robert Woods was having a great year up to that point,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think that those definitely help them get there. I think they've got a good thing going. They really do. And I think that it took those three, what was it, 3 losses in a row they had at that one point to in like
I can't
not
remember, to
the
be
end of the
honest.
season, but right before the end of the season where they had those 3 losses in a row. So I think that mentally they're ready for this game. And I just think it's going to be definitely a coaching battle. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have to get super creative, McVay and Shanahan, 2 ex Washington football team coaches.
Yeah, I think that they'd be here regardless, because like you said about the OBJ thing, and this is why I didn't like the dark horse term put on them, right? Because they had Robert Woods before the year started, and they had Cam Akers. Getting Sony Michel as a workhorse when Cam Akers went down, that helps a ton because now you got a running back you can rely on. But don't forget, Darrell Henderson was holding them down all the way up until he got put on IR. Odell Beckham comes in and he adds another weapon and he adds some touchdowns. I think Von Miller, between Odell Beckham and Von Miller's probably been the more of a splash impact. You know what I mean? Like, to have that many sacks in that many games straight, 6 games straight, to have a sack. I mean, that when I saw Von Miller take care of what's my man's name? Nate, can't remember his name now. Nate Solder. You remember when he threw him on his butt in the beginning of the season? That he got traded to the Rams after that was very interesting to me because, like, when I see players like that, I'm dying to get a player like that on my team right now with the New York Giants. We don't got no alphas like that, a guy that can just straight up bull rush you and put you on your backside like that. And it surprised me, that they moved on from him. Von Miller still showed he had a lot of gas left in the tank. So I think they're here regardless, to be honest. I mean, I think the Rams, a lot of people had them in that Super Bowl or bust kind of category. For me, it was like, just get past the first round of the playoffs, and this season should be a success for y'all. It's the first year with Matthew Stafford over there. Like I said in the intro of this game, there hasn't been many quarterbacks that go to another team and in their first year get to go to a Super Bowl, and here is Matthew Stafford playing for a chance to do that and do it in his own stadium. So I think the Rams are exactly who we thought they were, man. They were supposed to be here. They're a team that's full of talent. When you look at rosters across the NFL, they're a top 5 roster, I'd say.
Yeah. And I think one last thing before I make my pick here is let's keep an eye on Trent Williams' health going into this game. Obviously, Trent Williams, the best left tackle in the National Football League. If he's not there, if he's not 100%, look for Von Miller to eat on that. You saw them do that last week when Tampa Bay didn't have their tackle in Tristan Wirfs. So I think they're going to try and take advantage of that
20
situation.
pressures on Tom Brady last week.
Yeah, insane. You'll never see stuff like that,
Never.
So I'm going to go with my original pick, my gut. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams. I think this game is close, though. Division game. It's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be 24-20 Rams win.
24-20. I like that. The odds that the 49ers are going to be in another close game to me is just like, what? Like, how have they been doing this? It's crazy. But good defense, running the ball, it can get you far in the NFL for sure.
I mean,
right,
everybody wants Rams Chiefs, like, especially NFL. They really don't want to see San Francisco, Cincinnati.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a great Super Bowl, to be honest. But who knows, man? Who knows? We will see.
Never know. Yeah. We gonna see.
Let's see what these over-unders hitting for one time. Okay, so where do these start? These start right here. Matthew, and we're going to fly through these. Chat, we're going to need these submissions fast, 15 seconds, something like that. We're going to fly through these real quick. Matthew Stafford over 278 yards passing versus the 49ers. If you think Matthew Stafford's going to go over, let me get an O in the chat. If you think he's going to go under, let me see a U in the chat. Y'all know what it is over here. Y'all ain't no rookies. Y'all are day ones over here at Awthentik and The Beard. My man Reid coming in hot one time with the over. And then we got 3 unders in a row from No Mets, Kai 001, and Mac the Giants fan, and Bluegrass, and Edward Squires. I got an over from James Funk. I got an over from Stan. I got an over from Jake. I got an over from Marjorie. I got an over from Stephen White. And I got an over from Sabrina. I got an under from Zach and an under from old man Rob. The Beard, how you feeling about Matthew Stafford going over 278 yards passing versus the 49ers?
I wanted to take the over, but I think I'm going to take the under. He didn't go over on either one of those other games, but they did lose those games. I am going to take him to win this game, but I think he gets close. 275. I'm going to go under.
The reality, Awthentik likes defense when he should be all about the offense. I like that. Bars from Reality one time. Yeah, I'm going to take the over on this one. I think Matthew Stafford's going to light it up, man. Should be a big game. And with the 49ers trying to keep it close, I think it'll pressure Matthew Stafford to continue that through the third quarter. And if they're winning, I think they will be winning. By the fourth quarter, he'll be chilling, sitting on about 300 passing yards on the day. All right, let's go with Cooper Kupp here one time. Cooper Kupp over. I had to up the ante a little bit. 110 receiving yards versus the 49ers. Chat, how y'all feeling about Cooper Kupp going over 110 receiving yards versus them 49ers? All right, NPZ PRD taking the under one time. Red is taking the push. He's going 110 on the button. Stan Albert taking the over one time. Kai is taking the under along with no Mets, no Nets, no Jets. Edward Squires taking that push one time. Mac the Giants fan, make sure y'all go subscribe up to Mac the Giants fan, man, putting out great Giants content one time. He's taking the over along with Marjorie and along with Zach. We got James Funk, Old Man Rob, and Sabrina taking the under 110 receiving yards from Cooper Kupp. Jake is taking the over along with Stephen White. The Beard, what you got on this one? Cooper Kupp going to be over or under 110 receiving yards on the day?
Kupp's been good against 49ers. I'm going to take the over 110. I think it goes and sits in the 115 range.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to stick with you on this one. I'm going to take the over 110 receiving yards from Cooper Kupp as well. We got Cam Akers, over 72 yards rushing versus the 49ers. Chat, how y'all feeling about Cam Akers making it over 72 yards rushing after fumbling the ball twice last week? White. Shout out my man Stephen White in the building one time.
That's a tough one.
Red is taking the under on this one time. He thinks Cam Akers will not go over 72 yards. Mac the Giants fan, Marjorie, and Stan all agree. They're all taking the under 72 yards along with Edward Squires. Bluegrass Picker taking the over one time. NPZPRD is taking the under. Michael will have a day. James Funk is taking the under along with Jake, Stephen White, and my man Old Man Rob one time. Juice Jones in the building. He's taking that under one time. The Beard, how you feeling about Cam Akers getting over 72 yards rushing versus the 49ers?
I think Cam Akers has a good day. But I think they're going to go back to a more 50-50 split between him and Michelle. So I'm going to take the under 72 yards.
I like that answer. I'm going to be taking the under 72 yards as well. I agree with you, too, that Sony Michel is going to see a bigger workload in this game. I think they're going to pump the brakes on Cam Akers just a little bit here after seeing him fumble twice and not that effective on the ground. I think he runs tough. He runs hard. He gets positive yards. But, the two yards per carry is not going to get it done for sure. And Kai coming in late with the under one time as well. All right, let's get to this next one here. Jimmy Garoppolo over 200 yards passing versus the Rams. We had him at 225. He was just under that last week. How you got Jimmy G? You think he's going to get over 200 yards? How y'all feeling about this one, chat?
It's crazy that we're using a number like 200 when we're talking about a quarterback in the playoffs in 2022, right?
That's how it be when you got a running team, man. That's how it be. All right, let's see where these start off at. Red said, under. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets, taking the over along with Bluegrass. Let's see, we got a push from Mac the Giants fan. We got an under from Edward Squires. Juice Jones says that defense needs a switch up. Ronald Patterson, he's taking the under along with Sabrina one time. Stephen White is taking the over one time. Marjorie Simmons says barely, but over. Old Man Rob's taking it under. Shout out to the emoji gang in the building one time. Zach's taking that under one time. Bluegrass said good weather. That's facts right there. Esud's taking the over one time. James Funk says Jimmy G, the Rodney Dangerfield of the NFL. He's taking the under one time. The Reality taking that under one time. Another oops from my homie NPZ PRD says he's taking the push actually on this one. Sabrina's taking the over. Jake is also taking the over, says around 230s. And Juice Jones is taking the under on Jimmy Garoppolo going over 200 yards passing versus the Rams. Waterfly said, sorry, late, busy and Bad Dogs Lakers chat. Shout out to Bad Dog in the building. If y'all ain't familiar with Bad Dog, make sure to go sub up and check out the conversation I had over there with him just a couple of weeks ago, man. We chopped it up about the state of the New York Giants before the hiring of Joe Shane as the GM. It was a good conversation. Make sure y'all go check that one out. Stan Albert, last but not least in the building, says he's taking the over for Jimmy Garoppolo, 200 yards passing versus the Rams. What you think about this one, The Beard? You like Jimmy Garoppolo getting over the 200 yards passing, or you taking that under?
In his first victory against the Rams this year, he threw for a whopping 182 yards. In the last victory in Week 18, he threw for 316 yards.
Ooh.
I'm going to take the over.
I don't like that you took the over. It's giving you some options here if I take this under. Garoppolo. No. I just think, like, who's he throwing the ball to?
Kittle? Deebo Samuel.
Deebo?
George Kittle. Brandon Ayuk.
You saw those guys.
Mitchell out
did
the
you see
backfield.
those guys' numbers receiving last week?
I mean, it was snowing.
I mean, I'm going to go ahead and take the under on this one, man. Jimmy Garoppolo, man, finding ways to win without putting up big yards on the stat line. But I'm going to go under the 200. I think it'll come in around 188, something like that. All right, let's get to this next one. Speaking of George Kittle over 1 touchdown versus the Rams. Chat, how y'all feeling about George Kittle going over 1 touchdown versus the Rams? If you think he'll get one, take the push one time on this one. Shout out my guy Miz one time in the building. Make sure y'all go subscribe to the homie Miz, man. He is the definition of New York. I think you got to call one of your shows that or something, bro. The definition of New York is Miz. Make sure y'all go sub up to him. He says, yo, Bears authentic, flame emojis with the diamonds one time. Did the Bears just make a move? We'll see. Somebody let me know if the Bears just made a move one time. My man Red is taking the push along with Mac, the Giants fan, and MPZ, and Edward Squires, and Marjorie, and Kai, and Bluegrass Picker, and Waterfly, and James Funk, and Stan Albert. Yeah, we got a bunch of pushes one time here. We got an under coming in from Jordan, and we got an over coming in from Zach and Steven White. Old man Rob taking that push one time. Shout out my guy, Miz. He says, yo, what's good, you guys? What else we got here? The Bears got a coach. So the Bears got their coach. I don't know who it is. Bears have officially announced new owner, Aaron Rodgers.
Defensive coordinator from the Colts or something like that, I think.
That's solid. That's solid. Uh-oh. Camera unplugged here, Beard. I'm going to need you to hold it down on this next one, okay?
I got you, sir. I got you,
all right,
sir.
So we got the George Kittle. Let me give you my answer real quick. I think George Kittle, I'm going to take the push on this one.
I am going to take the push as well. All right, while Authentic gets replugged in, we're going to head to the next over-under here, and it's going to be Deebo Samuel over.
I had it up for you, bro.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, this joint right here.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Odell Beckham Jr. over 1 touchdown versus the 49ers. So if you guys think that Odell Beckham is going to score more than 1 touchdown, take the over. If you think he's going to score no touchdowns, take the under. If you think he's going to score 1 touchdown, take the push. Let's see what everybody is going with in the chat. MPZ Reds going with the over. Mac the Giants fan going with the push. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets taking the under. Edward Squires, Red both taking a push. And Kai with the under. Bluegrass Picker with the push. Ooh, this is a tough one. Another push from old man Rob. Margie's going under. James Funk's going over. Pushes from Mike, Steven, and Juice Jones. Authentic. What you got from Mr.
I'll go first on this one since my camera was lacking, man. Yo, like, I don't know what it is as of late, but like I'm getting some USB overloads over here on the computer. I mean, I know there's like
I had that today too when I was when we were getting ready to go on. I had the same situation.
Yeah, I don't know if it's something you StreamYard might have done, because I've definitely streamed for like a grip. I mean, I've gone like 4 hours, 5 hours before, but I don't know. I'm going to have to definitely look into that for the both of us. But as far as Odell Beckham Jr. over 1 touchdown, I can't go over. I'm going to take the push on this one. I think Odell Beckham Jr. will score 1 touchdown in this game.
I'm going to go push. Eventually he's going to hit one of these. I feel like we've been
Well, we hit the first playoff game and we missed this one.
Yeah. All right, push it is. Push
it is. Let's get to that next one you had highlighted, which is the Debo one. We got Debo Samuel over 110 total yards versus the Rams. Whew, this one's going to be a tough one, too. Chat, how y'all feeling about Debo going over 110 total yards? When is the last time OBJ had 2 touchdown catches in a game? I don't think he's had any 2 touchdown games this year with the Rams. He didn't score at all with the Browns. I'd have to go back to the New York Giants probably. I know that with the Rams, he had 4 weeks straight with 1 touchdown. He hadn't done that since 2015 with the Giants. So I definitely go back to the Giants for sure. All right, so we got, let's see. Shout out Jason Thomas one time in the building pulling up, man. Appreciate you pulling up, bro. Let's see what we got. Jake's taking a push on this one time. Mac, the Giants fan, taking the over. Thinks that Debo's going to get over the 110. Marjorie's taking the over. NPZ taking the under. Zach taking the push one time. Edward Squires with the over along with no Mets and Juice. Let's see. We got an under from Anthony Bluegrass Picker one time in the building. Saint Zappa taking the over. The old man Rob's taking the under. Stephen White is taking that over one time. The Reality taking the over along with him. James Funk, big over one time. After all, his name is Debo, says Mac the Giants fan. Salute. And Mr. Mini Guy is taking the over 110 total yards for Debo Samuel. The Beard, what you got on this one?
I'm going to go with the over. Debo is that offense. I think he's going to have, they're going to have to find a way to give him the ball, even though I think the Rams are going to win. And in order for the Rams to win, they're going to have to stop Debo. I still think Debo going to eat a little bit.
Yeah, I like that assessment right there, man. I'd be a fool to take Debo Samuel under 110 total yards, especially after hearing you say you're taking the over. I'm taking the over as well. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4 more of these, and then we're going to get up out of here, y'all. Tyler Higbee over 50 receiving yards versus the 49ers. Chat, how y'all feeling about this? You got 10 seconds. The beat about to run out. You got 10 seconds to let me know if you're taking the over for Tyler Higbee getting over 50 receiving yards versus the 49ers. Jason Thomas in the building says Debo be taking their house, his house. It's all Debo's house. Big facts right there. Red taking the under on Tyler Higbee's 50 receiving yards. And all these first couple answers are taking the under one time, man. We got Edward Squires, we got MPZ, Mac the Giants fan, we got Kai 001, we got old man Rob, all taking that under. Sank Zappa and Marjorie are both taking the over along with James Funk. Got more unders from Bluegrass and Stephen White. The Beard, how you feeling about Tyler Higbee getting over 50 receiving yards versus the 49ers? I feel like this one might be the one for real that could maybe get you a little bit more in that winning column.
47 yards, I'm taking the under.
Ooh, okay, I'm going to give you a little shot here. I'm going Tyler Higbee over 50 yards. I think he's going to get about 55 receiving yards on about 4 catches. All right, let's keep it pushing here. These last 3 is fire. These last 3 are definitely fire. OBJ will have more receiving yards than Debo Samuel. Taking the over or the under? Shout out my guy, Odell Beckham Jr. Chat, how y'all feeling about OBJ getting more receiving yards than Debo Samuel in Sunday's game? 6 p.m. Make sure you right by your TV for that one. Mac, the Giants fans, taking that over. Red taking that over. Reality says, nope, I'm taking that under. Jordan came back with the over one time. Marjorie says pipe down. She's taking the under one time. Juice Jones Create says big O for OBJ. Says OBJ will have more receiving yards than Debo Samuel. Edward Squires came back with the under. This one, we're split on this one, y'all. Kai said, damn. Oh, you already know he was thinking about that one. Old man Rob taking the over. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets, along with Stephen White and James Funk and my man Bluegrass Picker all taking the under on this one, along with St. Zappa and Zachary Hattler. Shout out Zachary one time in the building. What's going on, bro? NPC says he's got him for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ooh, that's a game right there. Jake says, as a Giants fan, I'm taking the under. You should take the over if you're a Giants fan, man. You know, once a Giant, always a Giant. Jake, come on now. Esud says, I went you last week, and he showed me up with that KO return. I'm going with the O. Beard, how you feeling about OBJ? Will he have more receiving yards than Deebo Samuel? How you thinking?
I'm going to take a real gamble here. Push.
Ooh, that's a super. You just gave me that one. That's a super gamble. I'm going to take the under, bro. I'm going to take the under. Ugh, that's risky. I'm going to take the under. I think that Deebo Samuel's going to have more receiving yards. Get back to his more receiver ways. Oh, do I want to do that, man? Do I want to do that to my guy Odell? I feel like you gave me the alley-oop to pick whatever I want, which is really good. So forget it. I'm going over.
You're going over, OBJ?
I'm going over. OBJ. Yeah.
I'm like running out of space here.
Yeah, we got what? Two more to go. All right.
There are a couple cross-outs so far for you.
I'm sorry. You know, if you were in digital age, things would be a lot different, you know. If you know, I was talking about quarterbacks not being the great eraser, but not being the great mistake last show. Yeah, something like that. You're gonna need yourself a good little eraser one time. All right, so we got 2 more before we get up out of here, man. We appreciate all y'all rocking with us, man. This one is Matthew Stafford will throw more interceptions than Jimmy Garoppolo. Chat, how y'all feeling about this one? Are y'all taking the over? Is Matthew Stafford going to throw more interceptions than Jimmy Garoppolo on the day? Or are you taking the under and you think that Jimmy Garoppolo will have more interceptions? Or are you taking the push? Maybe both these quarterbacks will keep it clean and take no interceptions on the day. How y'all feeling about this one? Old man Rob says OBJ scored 2 touchdowns 3 times. That must be in his career. I wonder when the last time was. Appreciate you with the stat right there, old man Rob. Mac, the Giants fan, is taking the over. He thinks Matthew Stafford will throw more interceptions than Jimmy Garoppolo. Red disagrees and thinks that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to throw more. We got a push from NPZ. And no Mets, no Nets, no Jets is taking the under. He thinks Jimmy Garoppolo will probably throw more interceptions. Edward Squires coming in hot with the push one time. St. Zappa takes that under along with James Funk. E-Sud's taking the push. I like that. That's a good call right there. Hank is also taking the push as well. Old man Rob is taking the under with yet another new emoji, man. Shout out young man Rob one time in the building. Stephen White is taking that under one time. Kai is taking the under as well. What else we got? We got Jordan coming in with the under as well. Thinks that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the one to throw more picks. And Marjorie says, yep, that will be the Rams' downfall. Jimmy G gives gifts always, says Jake. He's taking the under. And shout out my man Juice Jones Create. Y'all know what it is. Go sub up to Juice Jones one time. He's taking the under as well. The Beard, what you got on Matthew Stafford throwing more interceptions than Jimmy Garoppolo?
Under. I almost went push, but I'm going to go under.
I'm thinking about going push myself, man. Mac, the Giants fan, says Stafford's going to be putting the ball in the air a lot more. Niners defense ain't no joke. That's true. This one is so difficult, man. I'm going to take the push. I like the odds that the push gives me, too. You know, it gives me a couple outs here, man. You know, either no one throws an interception or when Matthew Stafford throws his first, maybe I can pray that Jimmy G will throw one. Edward Squire says those tip balls. 2018 with the Giants, old man Rob said. That's what's up. So his last year, Odell Beckham's last year with the Giants, he scored 2 touchdowns in 1 game. Appreciate that, old man Rob. All right. So we got those out the way. This is going to be the last one of the day, y'all, unfortunately. And we talked about the first touchdown. Look at the Beard just anxiously waiting. He's like, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? What's it going to be? Who will score the first touchdown in the 49ers versus Rams game? And we're talking about player, not team here. What player will score the first touchdown in the 49ers versus Rams game? The chat, what you got? Home Alone, that Home Alone. Hey, the first two, OBJ, kick-starting things off. I like it. Mac the Giants fan says Elijah Mitchell. I like that pick too. Stan came in hot with the Odell. Okay, we got 3 Odells, 1 Eli Mitchell. 4 Odells. Let's go. Kai says Debo, too easy. Edward Squires says Cam Akers will get that. Let's see. You think Hank said Robbie Gold? What, on fake field goal snap to the kicker? Shout out Hank pulling up. Stephen White says Debo will get the first one. James Funk says it's gonna be Tyler Higbee. I kind of like that too, right there. Let's see what else we got. OBJ from Jake. Marjorie thinks it'll be Higbee. Debo from Jordan. Correction. Debo. We got Ramsey from Perry Mack. Jalen Ramsey with the first touch. That's a risky. That should win you like a good $5K or something right there on a $100 bet. That's crazy right there. Juice Jones says OBJ, his routes and control are sick. And Esuds agrees with the Jalen Ramsey with the house call. I like that. I like these risky picks from the chat, man. That's what's up. You want me to go first on this one, Beard, or you got this?
No, you go.
You want me to go? I'm sticking with the chat, bro. I'm going OBJ.
I wanted to go obscure, but I'm going to go, nobody said Cup. I'm going to go Cup.
Oh, Cooper Kupp is a good pick, yeah. Old man Rob says he did not know this, but OBJ scored 3 touchdowns 3 times. That's fire. OBJ is a guy, man. He's a guy. Reality says Eli Mitchell. Saint Zappa says it's going to be OBJ, and then Higbee were my second and third. Oh, OBJ and Higbee were his second and third choices. Great pick with Jalen Ramsey there. That could very well be the case, man. Jalen Ramsey with the quick, early pick 6. Watch it be like a defensive lineman or something on a scoop and score, strip sack, fumble or something like
Bosa.
that. Yeah, watch it be Bosa. All right, so that does it for the over-under segment on Authentic and the Beard, man. We appreciate all of y'all participating in these over-unders. We're going to see how these hit when we come back on Tuesday. Another show in the books, man. I tried to keep this one a little short, hour, 47 minutes. We still got about a good 40 still in the building. We appreciate all of y'all rocking with us on this Thursday. You could be anywhere in the world, but instead you over here rocking with Authentic and the Beard, picking some over-unders. Y'all know what it is, man. We will be back on Tuesday for our recap show, which should be fun, man. That's going to be our last recap show before the Super Bowl, man. I don't think we're doing another recap show for the Pro Bowl or nothing crazy like that. I think it'll definitely be just for the Super Bowl, man. Any last words, any last thoughts about these games before we get up out of here?
Man, it can go either way. Any of these teams are capable of winning these games, as we've seen because of the outcomes of these games that they have already played so far this season against each other. I think we're either going to see the Chiefs dominate, or maybe we see, the changing of, the upcoming of the Joe Burrow story. I would like to see Matthew. I'm really rooting for the Rams because I really like Matthew Stafford. I think that, he's had a lot of undeservingly criticism.
Yeah, negative criticism
thrown his way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, same thing with Odell Beckham Jr. Like, I'd like to see him get to the Super Bowl. Like, he's everywhere he goes, most people in the locker room say that he is misunderstood. And I think that, to see him get to the Super Bowl would be awesome. And then obviously like Aaron Donald, these guys who, I think that Sean McVay, Shanahan is going to be one to keep your eye on the head coaching. And then I think in the Cincinnati, Kansas City game, I think you're just looking at just top tier playmakers all over.
Let me ask you something now. Were the Bills didn't come in as the number 2 seed, did they? Was it the Patriots that were? Who was the number 2 seed?
I think Kansas City was the number 2 seed.
And number 1 was Titans.
Yeah.
And then the Bills were number 3 probably, or number 4.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to me. I feel like they could do something to adjust the way that the brackets are kind of formed, because I would have loved to see the Bills play the Chiefs here in the AFC Championship. I love this story about the Bengals, but I just feel like the Bills should have played the Bengals early on, or they should have played somebody else earlier before they played the Chiefs. Maybe there's some kind of format they could do where the two remaining teams with the highest, seed could
Do
not
like
play
how
each
they
other or
do
something.
with basketball, where they reseed after each round.
Yeah, maybe something like that, because I would have loved to see that. That AFC, the game between the Bills and the Chiefs is going to be remembered forever. But the fact that it wasn't an AFC Championship game is just a little, it's a little asterisk that I don't like about that.
Yeah.
But I do think Joe Burrow and the Bengals deserve to be here. Jamar Chase, man, I'll never forget in the draft standing next to Zach Wilson. It just reminded me of, like, you got like a kid who, like, silver spoon vibe, and you got a kid like straight from the hood, and they're standing next to each other, and the kid with the silver spoon's like, man, this what the goons look like in the NFL? Like, a little bit worried. But Jamar Chase, man, after all the the drops and whatever people were talking about in the preseason, he showed up this year, man. He's going to be a wide receiver to be reckoned with for the rest of his career, man. So I wish him nothing but the best. And like you said, man, OBJ, Matthew Stafford, I'm pulling for them, bro. Like, I both those guys deserve to be. They are the kind of caliber player that deserves to have a Super Bowl, at least appearance, under their belt. Odell Beckham came into this league super hot, just ridiculous first 3 years in the league with the New York Giants, and I'm still one of those people that is very pro player. Been an Odell Beckham fan when he was a Giant, when he was a Brown, and now when he's a Ram. So I'm definitely rooting for him. And Matthew Stafford been an underdog his whole career, played with the Detroit Lions. Guys like Barry Sanders who stuck it out with the Detroit Lions never really got a chance to get to the Super Bowl. And I think Matthew Stafford made it was a good move for him to go over there to the Rams, because now in that first season you're looking at a guy who's well on his way to going to a Super Bowl. He's one game away from it. So I'm rooting for the both of them, man. We'll see how things pan out on when we come back on Tuesday. And we do the recaps for these games. But it's going to be a great one, man. I already know it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great one. This Sunday is going to be a fantastic one. I got a little bit of work I'm doing tomorrow in a photography studio, and then Saturday I'm going to be just kind of chilling out. So it's going to be a long wait, man. This football has been flying by week to week to week with the podcast, but I feel like this Sunday it's going to take a little bit to get there. I think it's going to be a bit of a slower week, but definitely looking forward to these games, man. And like I said earlier, man, we definitely appreciate everybody in the chat pulling up and just chopping it up with me and the Beard. Me and the Beard don't even get to see each other too much in person now with everything happening with COVID and everything. He's been down in Maryland a lot more too. So this is kind of like a bit of a session for me and him to catch up, just kind of on air. That's kind of what these turned into a little bit. Before, we used to live in the same crib, so he'd be right there. I get to chat it up with him. But it's been good chopping it up with you, man, for over 18, 19, 20 weeks here now for this NFL season, and now it's all coming to a head here. And we got 4 teams left, man. And at the end of Sunday, we're gonna know what 2 teams are gonna be headed to Super Bowl 56. I'm looking forward to it, man. It should be a really good one. Make sure y'all keep that notification on for Awthentik and The Beard. If you're a new subscriber here to the channel, man, we do this 4 times a week normally during the regular season. Kind of dialed it back a little bit to 2 times a week because our teams are not, unfortunately, are not in the playoffs. So no giant overreaction. And we haven't been doing the parlay, but during the regular season, we do 4 times a week. Make sure y'all check us out. And I'm looking forward to the off-season content too, man. Giants got our GM, about to get our new coach here. We don't know what we're gonna do at the quarterback position here. Shane did commit a bit in his press conference to Daniel Jones, which I'm sure is relieving a lot for Giants fans out there. I said it last year, Daniel Jones was going to be the quarterback for 2021 and 2022. I'm expecting that, but I'm hoping they address it. We'll see what happens here. I'm excited to see what the New York Giants are going to do in the offseason. So come draft time, things are going to get really lit around here on Awthentik and The Beard, man. But again, everybody in that chat, man, we couldn't do this without y'all. Y'all already know what it is, man. Y'all are fam. Ain't nobody a fan. Keep raising that bar. Keep living those dreams in Technicolor, as my man Combat Jack would say. And we'll catch y'all on Tuesday, man. Y'all be good. Biceps on the way out for when we roll them credits. Y'all know what it is, man. Be good. Enjoy y'all Sunday. Peace.
Peace.